this is how, like, you really need to play the whole thing to really see how bad it is. But if you want to get a taste of how bad it is, listen to Bill Cassidy, Republican from Louisiana. I don't know where he would be on the list. There was a vote going into last week on the question that brought up by Rand Paul, question of impeachment. Is there jurisdiction? Rand Paul had a bill on the floor. It lost 55 to 45. Collins, Murkowski, Romney, Sass, and Toomey voted, yeah, there's jurisdiction. We can go ahead with this trial. It obviously wasn't during the impeachment itself, but that was the first part that had to happen. It was just like a test thing. If you had said to me, like, who do you think would be like the number 6 person to come out? I mean, I wouldn't know. I really would have been tough to make a guess. Maybe I would have said Portman or I don't know. Mm-hmm. But here is Bill Cassidy, who I think he was a prosecutor himself or something. A lot of these guys are lawyers, and I think it was just sort of like, I'm too embarrassed. I can't even. And he ended up voting that there was jurisdiction, and here he was a doctor. Here he is. Here he is. I'm a doctor, and if you operate on someone like this, that patient dies. So I had to. Here he is.
I said I'd be an impartial juror. Anyone listening to those arguments, the House managers were focused, they were organized, they relied upon both precedent, the Constitution, and legal scholars. They made a compelling argument. President Trump's team were disorganized. They did everything they could but to talk about the question at hand. And when they talked about it, they kind of glided over it, almost as if they were embarrassed of their arguments. Now, if I'm an impartial juror, and one side's doing a great job, and the other side's doing a terrible job on the issue at hand, as an impartial juror, I'm going to vote for the side that did the good job.
What does it mean for conviction?
I don't know. We haven't heard that yet. I'm an impartial juror.
Why do you think the Trump defense team did a terrible job?
Did you listen to it?
I did.
Okay, then it speaks for itself.
I found Castor hard to follow for sure. Other Republicans have praised Chauvin. Is that your feeling of things, or did you think that
Again, if you listen to it, it speaks for itself. It was disorganized, random, had nothing. They talked about many things, but they didn't talk about the issue at hand. And so if I'm an impartial juror and I'm trying to make a decision based upon the facts as presented on this issue, then the House managers did a much better job.
I wonder if, I mean, I don't think it'll mean anything, but I wonder if that isn't like, a little bit of an attack on some of his fellow Republicans. I mean, he keeps pushing, if I am impartial.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as you always say, I think there's a little bit of branding going on here. We see this from some Republicans who want to appear like they are reasonable individuals. I mean, I think we saw some of this branding similarly done by Lamar Alexander. That I don't know if he would have been able to vote and say those arguments were legitimate because they were so convoluted and full of nonsense. I mean, I think he just had it up to here. I think that Cassidy's going to vote not to convict, but he couldn't legitimize whatever Castor and Trump's defense team had brought forward. It's like a confluence of things.
It's going to be interesting because, I mean, what if they do as bad of a job with the second half of the trial as they did with that first question? Then he's going to be a little bit on the spot.